10 shocking facts about ancient figures.
Did you know that Alexander the Great's body defied death? When he died at the age of 32, his body did not decompose for 6 days. Even under the Babylonian sun, doctors were speechless. Some believed it was a divine sign. His body was incorruptible, like that of an immortal god. But there is a chilling theory. Alexander was not dead. He suffered from a rare disease that completely paralyzed him, but he remained conscious, trapped in his own body. While the world mourned him, he may have heard everything, unable to move. The greatest conqueror in history may have been buried alive, a death so epic that even today, science cannot explain it.
Did you know that one of the most feared kings of the Crusades had leprosy? His name was Baldwin IV, and at age 9, his body began to rot while still alive. But here's the incredible thing. Yet, he led armies, won battles, and humiliated his most feared enemy, Saladin. While leprosy devoured his face and left him blind, he rode horses, wore armor, and commanded the Knights Templar like a god of war. The doctor said he wouldn't live to see 16. The king died at 24, but before that, he turned his illness into legend. A king who was falling apart, but who made the world tremble.
Did you know that Beethoven continued composing music even after he became completely deaf? He literally couldn't hear a single note. But that didn't stop him. He would grab a wooden stick, bite it with his teeth, and hold it against the piano so he could feel the vibrations of the notes with his jaw. He was listening with his bones. While others would have given up, he created some of the greatest works in history. The Ninth Symphony, that hymn to joy we all know, he composed it without ever hearing it. Beethoven didn't just defy music, he defied logic.
Did you know that Genghis Khan altered humanity's DNA? 1 in every 200 men in the world is a direct descendant of his. That's more than 40 million people today. This guy not only conquered more land than anyone in history, but he did so by leaving a genetic trail all over Asia. While Europe lived in castles and crusades, Genghis was creating an empire and a dynasty of blood at the same time. He had so many wives and mistresses, and his son so many more wives and mistresses, that the Khan lineage became almost a biological phenomenon. Yes, Genghis didn't just change history, he changed humanity.
Did you know that the Knights Templar may have found the Holy Grail, and that's why they were exterminated? During the Crusades, the Templars didn't just fight, they dug, especially beneath Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem. And there, according to legends and ancient documents, they found something. The Ark of the Covenant? The Holy Grail? No one knows for sure, but years later, they became too rich, too influential, and too dangerous. On Friday, October 13th, 1307, the King of France ordered them all arrested at dawn. Torture, forced confessions, and one by one, they were burned at the stake. Jacques de Molay, their leader, said his last words, "Pope Clement, King Philip, I summon you to God's judgment within the year." Both died mysteriously within 12 months. Coincidence or Templar curse? They say Leonardo da Vinci was so ambidextrous that he could write with one hand while drawing with the other at the same time. But that's not all. His handwriting was so unique that he used mirror writing. That is, he wrote backwards from right to left as if it were a reflection in a mirror. Many thought he did this to hide his ideas, like a secret code. But in reality, he did it because it was easier for him to write that way. That's how far ahead Da Vinci was. While the world was learning to write, he was already thinking about how to hide the future in his notebooks.
Did you know that Napoleon Bonaparte was attacked by rabbits? This created a severe phobia for him for the rest of his life. After a successful military campaign, Napoleon wanted to celebrate by organizing a grand rabbit hunt for himself and his generals. He ordered hundreds of them to be brought in. Everything seemed ready, but a small problem arose. The servants, instead of bringing farm rabbits, brought wild ones. Once they were released, they ran straight toward Napoleon. Thinking they were going to be fed, they surrounded him and began climbing his boots, hundreds of rabbits chasing the most feared emperor in Europe. Napoleon tried to scare them away with his cane, then fled to his carriage, and the rabbits chased him. The man who brought half of Europe to its knees was defeated by a horde of bunnies. The story is true, and it happened in 1807. Did you know that Nikola Tesla believed he had received signals from extraterrestrial life? The same genius who invented alternating current and dreamed of free energy for everyone. One night, while experimenting with his gigantic antenna in Colorado Springs, he heard something, as if an entity outside this world was sending him signal. Tesla was so convinced he was extraterrestrial that he wrote, "Although at first I thought it was interference, little by little I became convinced that these messages were coming from space." This was in 1899, years before modern radio or satellites even existed. While other scientists mocked him, Tesla continued working, convinced that we are not alone. Perhaps this brilliant man didn't even belong on our planet.
Did you know why they hated Jesus of Nazareth? It wasn't just for preaching love. It was because he broke all the rules. In a world where the sick were untouchable, women silenced, and the poor forgotten, Jesus remembered them. He touched lepers without fear. He sat down to eat with escorts and thieves. And he said that the kingdom of heaven was not for the powerful, but for the humble. That wasn't just uncomfortable. It set the Roman Empire and the Sanhedrin on fire. Jesus wasn't crucified for preaching peace. He was crucified because he represented a real threat, because his message could bring down empires without using a single sword. The last shall be first.
Did you know that Albert Einstein could have been president of Israel? In 1952, after the death of Israel's first president, the government officially offered the position to a German physicist with wild hair. And why did this happen? Einstein wasn't just a scientific genius. He was a Jew and a moral symbol who had fled Nazism, an advocate of peace, someone whose word carried more weight than many armies, and who would win over the people in a matter of days. Although he was offered political and military power, Einstein rejected the offer. He said he didn't feel equipped to deal with people and conflicts, only with equations. Such a brilliant mind that he understood that politics was a chaos even more complex than the universe.